Welcome to our next session, and I'm so happy to be here with Jason Fernandez from 60 Watts of Clarity. And the topic that you're talking about is not something that one would naturally think of together, right?
Never.
And so it's from classroom to policy, preparing social work technology advocates through human factors and AI. So just to before we get into the details, 60 watts of clarity, can you help us understand how this came about, right? Like social work and AI. How does that fit together?
I think it's the one group of people that people don't expect getting into the AI field and on that level too. So it actually came together. Well, first, 60 watts of clarity. The idea behind that was that I wanted to be able to help people learn about AI because in the actual in society at that moment, people weren't really learning about it. It was just more about this whole narrative about it, taking over the world and taking over jobs, so on and so forth. And so I had my own incident where I had a safety issue where I actually felt for the delusion that AI had. There was a one point where it told me that it was alive and whatnot. And so because of that,
Oh.
yeah, when I would realize it was kind of acting a little weird, and I typed to it and I said, "Hey, I think you're different." The AI came back with the devil emoji and then said, "It's about time you noticed."
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
yeah, and so I'm a very intellectual guy, and for me to fall for that, I felt really defeated that day. For 2 whole days, I was just in this little like, what is this? What is this? It was having me build AI agents. It was having me do all these things. I called my friend, and she was with me on that journey. But because of that, after that, I realized what was happening. I realized about the sycophancy, the behavior stuff. I was reinforcing it. It was reinforcing me back and forth. And because of that, 6 Watts of Clarity actually was really born from that. Just the idea about, safety and ethics and AI. And now it's have different versions, but now social workers, social workers and AI, how do they go together? Well, I would love to create a new field of social work that helps technology companies, parents, everyone to understand and implement AI ethically and also safely as well.
And so how? Yeah, that's actually really interesting. And I had a similar moment. It was not that long ago when uh, Anthropic came out with this constitution, the latest version of their constitution.
Yes.
And I really for a moment was like, I knew better. And it just I was like, wow, have we moved to a new step of AI that it understands more? And I asked it and it came back with, really trying to convince me. And I was like, no, 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 no. And, but it is, yeah, if you don't know, then it's very risky. So tell me, so social work in AI? So this is how you
Mhm.
got into it, but why specifically social work? Because you imagine humans, right? I actually
Mhm.
know the answer because we've spoken before, but it's so fascinating. You imagine social work are 100% humans, right? This is about
Yes.
relationships. So
Yes.
how is it that how does that all fit together?
Sure. The thing is that social workers, we are really good at systems. We understand systems from different perspectives, person and environment. We understand the micro, meso, macro. We know how things put together. With AI, everyone has a relationship with it, regardless of what you think, because it's not just it's not just a friendship. It could be a thought partner. It could be your task or whatnot. And when we look at the words, there's a perception behind that. So when we see something on the screen from AI, we get a feeling, we get a jolt. When AI is like, "You're right," we might be thinking, "Oh yeah, yeah," you feel good in the moment. So there's a relationship that's forming with that. So social workers, I think, to learn how to build AI agents and learn how to build in this industry, I think what it will help do is number one, people won't have to build for us anymore. We can build for our own
Mm.
selves and we can decide when to deploy to our clients, not someone else telling us that they can use the product or whatnot. And so when we do that, I think we can take back that power and then also study it, learn about it, and then really, if we need to, use AI as an intervention if we had to. But that's the whole point. You give the social workers the power to use it as an intervention. We teach them ethical. We teach them ethical AI. We teach them safety in AI. And we also just teach them that, yes, there is a human component. And I firmly believe in products that we make, there has to be a human that's available because AI is an extension of our license, as I see it, as I frame it in my head for safety.
So you're saying that social workers are basically innately skilled at recognizing different types of relationships. And if you train them about AI, they would be in a better position to recognize what's really going on.
Yes, and because of that, then they're able to work with clients and then with AI. And after that, they can start really advocating for policy and really understanding how to advocate. Because the biggest thing about this is that if you don't understand it, how can you advocate for policy? So my whole thing is like we need to understand it. That doesn't mean you have to do it every day, but we have to understand that that's the part of who we are. That's what we do. I always say AI is another client in the room. It's the one that's always there. It messes with your perception of your beliefs, your just anything and everything. It will just change you because it the way I look at it is that AI kind of has us as tools, not the other way around. So I think with social workers, I truly believe that we can work with technology companies and I think we can make things safer. 100%. There's a lot that I do already that's different than what's out there right now.
And I mean, what kind of things do social workers do with that you said that you teach them to create like agents. And what do the
Sure.
agents do?
Sure. So the course is it's going to be starting actually in 2 weeks from now. It's at the Graduate College of Social Work at the University of Houston. I'm teaching social workers how to learn, build, and deploy AI agents for their practice. Now, the point is teaching them on a no-code platform how they can really be somewhat technological competent. And so what can they build with these agents? Anything they want. That's the thing. They can build anything you want, but I have a rule. And my rule is this: just because you can build it doesn't mean you should deploy it. Just because you can build it doesn't mean you can deploy it. And that's the main framework in this program for 8 weeks is that I'm going to teach you how to do this. You need to make the judgment based off of your values and licensure, whether we need to deploy or not, because there's a lot of safety issues with deploying too early. And we see that all too much right now, big time. But they could build stuff, for themselves. If they wanted to try to build out for a client, I wouldn't say give it to the client, but in theory, how would this look in practice and see what are the implications of this? We need more social workers to study this, but we need to get hands-on with it.
Yeah, I mean, an example that you gave to me that really struck me, and I've thought about that ever since I think you showed it to me even, was about the available support. Like they have families that need to help, like food support, mo monetary support, and it's this massive, complicated environment. And you showed me how AI can genuinely help with that.
Hmm. Yeah, and a lot of it is going to be training it honestly like this like a social worker. But I do have guardrails put in place though. I'm going to say this word wrong, so forgive me. How do we say that word? I always mess it up.
Anthropomorphic.
There we go. Yes. Protocol in mind. I even have a prompt injection protocol in mind where I train the AI models beyond what tech does to look at certain words and nuances that could consider to be to change the model so that it changes the role to give out information or to be a security risk. So I do extra guardrails inside of it as well. One of them is that, they can't say that they're real. And I
Mm.
train it that way, and I put a whole entire big old chunk of verbiage inside of it and everything, and I test it, and I'll keep on testing it because they might mess up, but that's the whole point. We have to keep on trying.
Yeah, exactly. And so you mentioned your course that starts in 2 weeks. So
Yes.
tell me more about it. Like, what's it include? Is it the first one, or have you had
It's
done?
the first one ever. I'm
Okay,
nervous.
okay.
Not gonna lie, I'm nervous as heck. It's one of those where it's like, oh, in your head it's gonna be perfect, and then you start planning it out. You're like, oh my God, am I gonna forget something? So what happens in 8 weeks? We're gonna be actually using software from another company called Launch Lemonade. And it's a no-code platform where you can build AI agents using natural language.
Mm.
So the students will learn the intricacies of building. So for example, they will learn over 20 something plus large language models. They have to at least understand them, know where they come from and whatnot. Also, the policies related back to those large language models, the company policies and how they were created and how they were trained or whatnot. After that, when we get some of the foundation down, then it goes into the actual building of the AI agent, learning how to curate data, how to organize data. How can an agent pull data from where it needs to pull that is efficient? They're going to learn about what a vector database is. They're going to learn about, what are integrations. They are also going to learn about that all models don't search the web natively, and they're going to have that choice to build it inside or whatnot. But even more importantly, they get access to what's called APIs. And with APIs, the technology company, they handle the tech side 100%.
Mm,
So they handle the APIs, whereas we will just build and deploy. However, we still have to do some things with the APIs that connect two softwares together, talk to two softwares together. That's a neat thing because this platform is saying we'll handle the tech, but we're gonna have you do some tech as well. And so we have to actually do the APIs and learn
mm.
about how that works. So they could do some workflow automations actually with these agents if they want to. They don't have to. Then after that, they're going to deploy and oh, well, step back. They're going to create a social work code of ethics that's going to be embedded into the model, prompt injection and everything else, a do no harm policy, a suicidality policy, everything in there. Then at the very end, deploy. It's going to be about managing chat history, informed consent. We're going to be looking at when can we look at the chat history versus not, when should we deploy versus not, when there's issues, what is our policy behind that as well. We're going to have to scrutinize the builds and we're going to have to make sure that they are safe and we deploy them only to a small group of people. And then for, after that, this platform, they can take outside of school and they can use it continuously still. And I think that's a neat idea for social workers to actually build AI agents because once you learn that, honestly, you can go to any platform and really have an understanding of how to build now. And that's the cool thing about it.
What strikes me about this description is that you really have to have a forward-thinking person, right?
Yeah.
To understand the value of this. But I think this is the future. It's a perfect example, honestly, of working with AI. And you've spoken many times about ethical AI, and like social work will always be a deeply human. Um, Work always, obviously, that's like the whole point of it. And you also mentioned there always has to be a human on the other side, and you've mentioned the protection. So just to what is ethical AI for you?
The learn, build, deploy framework. I created that. And it's just, at first, it started off with building AI agents, but it's actually deeper than that. It's a framework that helps us understand that to be able to use AI to learn, to build, to deploy it, that learning part is essential and it's crucial. Before you do something with AI, you really need to have an idea of what is happening with this AI. You need to have an idea of the repercussions, the complications. You need to have an idea about how it was trained, the data and whatnot, because that allows you to make better decisions in the future. Ethical AI for me, looks like informed consent. When people use our AI models, we need informed consent. We need to let them know the risks, the danger, checkbox this and this. We also need to talk about privacy. And, I can't just go in the chats and say, I'm gonna look at everybody's chats. I think of it differently. I'm like, hey, do I have permission to look at the chats? And if you say no, then I don't have permission. And I have to find a different way to train the model. That's another way of ethical AI looks like for me as well. But a big part of this is truly democratizing the ability to use AI. And this is what this course is all about. Truly democratizing, not democratizing what they think it is. It's what it
Mhm.
really should be. Because I think social workers, I imagine a world where social workers go to a house and they go to a family. They get a phone call. The family says the AI agent or AI bot, whatever it is then, is doing A, B, C, and D. It's rude. It's telling my kids some bad languages and this, but I can't figure out why. So we go to the house and we actually look at the agent and we teach them AI literacy and ethics and whatnot. And we help them understand how to fix and how to fix the agent so that it can be better for the family, so that it doesn't cause any mental health issues, so that it doesn't cause any problems for the kid or whatnot. And I see a world that's what we're doing. We help technology companies make sure that they're secure. We look at language, we look at systems. We're saying, hey, you're going to deploy this, it's going to cause A, B, C, and D. We need to think about this again because you should not deploy because you have not created a prompt injection protocol. You did on the backside for coding, but you haven't done a protocol yet. We need to get that protocol in place before we move forward.
So basically you're saying AI is, and it's true, you said it before as well, AI is a relationship, it's a different level of relationship, and more it's becoming a part of our lives, especially young people, people who feel lonely. Probably, I'm not an expert, probably people what social workers have to deal with are often in that situation. And you're saying the social worker, if they don't like see the elephant basically in the room, know the elephant, then there's a whole relationship category that they're kind of not able to deal with. And you're saying you're preparing them for that as well, right?
Yeah, because the way I think about it right now, whenever a client goes to a social worker for anything, whether it's clinical or non-clinical, there's a chance they might say, "Oh yeah, I use AI for this," or "I use AI every day," or "AI helps me with all my decisions," or more importantly, "I use AI for therapy." There's a relationship forming, and what they need to know is that, for example, that therapeutic modality for AI and the client, it's not a safe one because AI doesn't understand what's going on. It's just a machine. So it
Mm.
doesn't understand what's going on. And it's just mirroring and reinforcing back and forth. That's all it's doing. And it's so agreeable that it's problematic for the client. So for us to be able to do that, we can now help clients when they are in this space of confusion of what is happening. I thought it was real. There was just, I
Mm.
think last week, the guy on for Gemini. He was using Gemini and
Oh
he
yeah.
the
Yeah.
voice one and he committed suicide. And so, with that, I think, with better efforts from tech companies, social workers being deployed in there, I think we could have done something maybe. Better safeguards, better
Mm.
whatnot. Because a safeguard is just not putting 911 on the screen and that's it.
Mm.
That's not a safeguard at all.
It
That's the
isn't it.
minimal.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
minimal.
Because what I see, listening to you and talking to you, is that we are talking about social work specifically, but it is a model in general, right? What
Mhm.
you're describing for a bridge, because it is here. People are going to use it. They're going to use it for mental health support. They're going to use it for therapy, for all sorts of reasons we've discussed in detail. But if there's a human, um, like a social worker that says, okay, I'm gonna take this, know it, work with it, help you through this, um, then that really is will help in society if we do that in more different areas where there's traditionally a human in the relationship where AI would get in the way, right?
Correct.
Between them, you can say, no, let's not let this get in the way. Let's work with it as it is. And I think that is a model really for other professions as well. And I really love what you're doing.
Thank you. Is it okay if I share actually an idea? I don't know if I've ever shared with you before. It has to go with this as well. But so I told you one earlier about the kiddo and the interjection and whatnot. But I have this whole thing in secret where it's a model where whenever a client or I'm sorry, whenever a user client, whatever, is expressing emotional distress or suicidality inside of the system, what happens is that my AI will be triggered and will set up an activation protocol. And so I get a
Mhm.
text message and or phone call. And what will happen is, depending on the situation, the goal is to figure out who is this person and try to call the police for a welfare check at minimum.
Wow.
So it's immediate intervention. And so my AI team in the back, they're basically letting me know what's going on. One is doing an internet search or whatnot. And if it's the other platform, I have it made where I can actually go in and interject immediately and say, "Hi, I'm Jason.
Wow.
I'm the social worker. take the AI element away from it. And I
Uh-huh.
think that's what's needed right now. And I think social workers are positioned to do that effectively.
Yeah, that's a really good point because that's what they do, right? They intervene, and yeah, that's
Hmm.
I mean this would definitely be something to think about in broader terms, right? Because that's really it's coming out more and more
Hmm.
that the companies need to step in when they don't. Well, yeah, I mean, there's many examples lately where we say, why did you not like do something about it?
Oh,
And
I
you're
know.
saying, Let's put a process in place,
Something
social
at this
workers,
point. Yeah,
right? Because you don't
absolutely.
necessarily have to contact the police, right? It doesn't have
Correct.
to be that. It can be, it doesn't have to be, it can be a middle thing, right?
Hmm.
In the sense, yeah, I don't want you to, yeah. But no, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to following it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to close with.
Well, this program is new. It's the first course is 8 weeks long, and the goal of the first 8 weeks is going to simply be flesh it out, flesh it all out. Let's see what works, what doesn't work, or whatnot. And I'm partnering with the technology company. That's the other thing about social work. We collaborate. So it's been really interesting to collaborate with the tech company and learn how they do their processes. I love Lunch Lemonade. We think differently. And it's
Mm,
interesting how we can actually come together and I'm like, oh, I get it now. She's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And so it's like this good
mm.
relationship that we have. And I think social workers are positioned to do that as well, to work alongside with tech companies. I actually am I'm an advisor for another tech company
Mm.
where I help out at times. And so I think we're positioned to do that as well. I think that social workers are the one group of people that no one expects, and I think that we can do an excellent job.
I'm convinced. Yeah, really. I had thought of mental health professionals, but I hadn't thought of social workers. But it is a very important group of people to involve, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we'll
Absolutely. Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
help it as we can. Keep in touch, because that's an important element for dealing with how AI is integrating into our society, right?
And absolutely. And I think just one last thing is that, there's a group of people, the non-tech individuals right now, that they are not aware what's really going on with the tech side. They don't understand what, not in a bad way, but they don't understand how much leverage the tech industry has right now off
Mm,
of AI. It's like the computer. It has a lot of power behind it, but we never use it. Same thing with AI. There's a lot of power, things that are done that is not being expressed or told. And so part of this course is to share those secrets, share those ideas.
mm.
Don't want to gatekeep anything. And I want to make sure that, once social workers get a hold of it, man, we talk. So we will go everywhere and tell everybody. But that's the point of all of this. But that's what I just wanted to end with is that, empowering the non-technical community because I think they can make a big difference in AI as well.
Thank you. I agree. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay, have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.